Hey guys, and welcome back to the Layah Heilpern show. Joining me on the show today, we have a certified personal trainer and nutritionist of over 20 years. So I've got a lot of questions for him. He also has an 8-figure business. So again, more questions coming. I'm really excited to learn about this. He's also a best-selling author on Amazon, and he's done a lot of different modeling as well for the likes of Nike, Puma, and Adidas. So it sounds like he's done it all. So let's welcome to the show, Brandon Carter, also known as King Keto. Brandon, welcome.
What's going on? Thank you for having me, man. It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, I'm so excited to speak with you. You've done a lot of different things, and I feel like you're really sort of leading in the online entrepreneurial space and the fitness space. So I'm excited to break all of that down. But before we get into it, I was really curious about the King Keto name.
Yeah.
So where did that come from? Does that mean, you're the king of the ketogenic diet? Is that what you do? Where did the name come from?
I had like a stupid name that kind of escapes me on Instagram. And one of my boys, he was like, "Man, you should change the name to King Keto on Instagram." And then I just changed it. So I had to buy it from some guy who wasn't even using it. And that's kind of how that was the genesis of it, because I've been a strong proponent of the ketogenic diet, for many years, and so it just kind of fit. Yeah.
I feel like diets right now are really trending. Everybody's trying a different diet. Me and my brother, we're also trying to do different diets. I think he's doing better with the whole keto and carnivore diet than I am. So I'm gonna ask you all about that. But I'm curious, before we get into it, can you explain the different benefits of something like keto versus carnivore versus like even being vegan? Because I see that being pushed a lot. What are the differences?
As it pertains to diet, it really depends on what your aspirations are, like what your goals are. If you just want to lose fat, then anything will work, right? You don't have to be keto. You can eat all the carbs in the world. It doesn't really matter. You just have to burn more calories than you consume. So a common misconception about the ketogenic diet is that people only do it for body composition reasons, right? But that's not why I do it at all. I do it from a number of different reasons. I get like way different health benefits that are associated with it. For example, when I was I was in my 30s, like I was in my early 30s, right?
You look like you're in your 30s, by the way.
Oh, thank you. I'm 40. I'll be 41.
Wow.
I'll be 41 this month. In September. And it was like early 30s, and they said my cholesterol's high. I went for a checkup, and I have a genetic predisposition for that because I have a lot of family members with high cholesterol. And they wanted to put me on like statin medications. And I was like, And after being like a trainer for so long, a trainer and nutritionist for so long, I was familiar with some studies that showed that the ketogenic diet had the ability to lower cholesterol in some people, not everyone, right? So I said, you know what, man, instead of doing these crazy ass drugs, right? Because there's a lot of side effects associated with those. I said, let me just try this instead. But what I noticed is that I just feel better. I feel like I had more energy. My skin was super clear after that, and I don't know, I just felt better, right? So I stuck with it, and then I went back to the doctor, and he was like, "Oh, did you those drugs been working?" I was like, "Man, I threw that prescription away."
Oh wow!
Yeah, because my cholesterol had dropped back down to a acceptable rate.
What did the doctor say?
He was like, "Oh, well, just keep doing what you're doing," and I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm gonna keep doing it." And that's the main reason I started. But then the more I researched it, there's the studies that show it boosts the immune system. For example, I haven't had a cold in like 6 years.
Wow.
Yeah, when everyone had like,
the flu, that fake flu that went around.
C-19.
Yeah, that fake
or whatever, I'm walking around New York like I am legend. Nice. You know what I'm saying? 'Cause I was living in Manhattan at the time, and my girl got it 3 times. And I was kissing her in the mouth, eating off her plate, having unprotected sex with her. I ain't even test positive. Wow. I haven't been sick.
Well, why didn't
you
put her on the diet?
Oh man, because she's Dominican.
Okay.
Dominican.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, she's Latino. They eat a lot of rice, man. Motherfuckers love rice.
Yeah. Okay, that's fascinating.
Yeah.
But that's so interesting, because the whole the whole thing with keto and eating, let's say, like red meat and fat and all of that, they say that is bad for cholesterol.
They say a lot of things.
They say that's the direct issue.
They say a lot of things.
They do. What's your take on that?
Well, here's the thing. This is an axiom of life, right? Everything's hypothetical until you apply it to your own life, right? If you read any study, they never say 100% of people got this result. you know. So you may be an outlier, right? Or someone else may be outlier. Everything is hypothetical until you apply it to your own life. So when people say this is the best, this the best, this the best, like you'll never hear me say keto's the best. You'll never hear me say anything's the best, because it might not be the best for you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, some people have great results with a vegan diet. Some people fucks their whole shit up. You know, some people have great results with carnivore diet, but some people they can't handle it, right? Everybody's different, man. Some people will eat somebody listening to this right now who would die if they ate a peanut. You know what I'm saying? Like everything's hypothetical until you apply it to your own life, right? So I don't really even get caught up in a lot of the, as it pertains to me, I don't get caught up in a lot of the studies, but that may influence me to attempt something, right, and see if it's applicable to me in my life. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that does make sense. So how can somebody figure out which diet would be better for them? And the reason I ask is because there's so much controversy over diets, and I hear some rules for men, and I feel like there's some for women. So like intermittent fasting apparently is good for men but not for women. I've heard that keto is better for men, not for women. So how do you know, like, is there a certain type of person that should gravitate towards a specific type of diet?
Everything is hypothetical until you apply it to your own life. Like literally everything, you know. So I'm super hesitant to say that this is good for men or this is good for women, because how are you going to generalize half the population? That's fucking billions of people. You know, I will say you can look at the studies. I will say you can look at the studies and, you know, the evidence to maybe assess what might be beneficial for you. You know what I'm saying? But also the question is like the best diet. It's also, what are your goals? Like, what are you trying to accomplish, right? You know, like,
aren't we all trying to accomplish something similar? Like,
it depends, right?
Looking good, lean body, I guess maybe put on some like muscle mass, but like get rid of fat. Isn't everyone trying to do the same thing?
Maybe, right? I mean, maybe, because think about it. Some people want to be pro athletes. Some people are thinking about longevity. You know, some people are just want to get as big as possible. Some people want to be more flexible. Some people want to gain weight. Some people want to lose weight. Some people want to look like a bodybuilder. Some people just want to be thin. You know, it's like everyone has different goals and different aspirations. So to say that one thing is the best, it really just depends on what their goals are, and then we got to see, you know, what's going to work best for that person and what they can adhere to. You know what I'm saying? Like, the best diet is the one that helps you accomplish your goals and you can adhere to it. Like, some people just can't do keto because it's just not going to work for them, you know, and that's cool. You know what I'm saying?
No, that makes sense. I mean, I've personally tried the keto diet, and I don't know, maybe I'm just not doing it properly, but I find it really difficult. Like, I need something like I need some type of carb, like rice or something. Why? I don't know, because I get low energy, and then I get hungry. I get so hungry. Yeah,
maybe maybe that's the case. I will say though, most people who say they try keto, like, they don't really do it properly.
Yeah, I did.
You know what I'm saying? Like, almost no one, right? I had this one employee, and he was working for me. This is when I was back in New York, and he wanted to start the ketogenic diet, right? Because he saw the benefits I was getting and he wanted to try it. And he was like, man, I got no energy, but I'm not hungry. What's going on? And when you actually are in ketosis, right, what happens is your body starts to produce ketones. And one of the side effects is that it makes you less hungry, right? So a lot of times, this is what happened to him. A lot of times people won't eat enough. So I was like, how much you been eating? He said, I don't know. You're not tracking it? And I got pissed at him for not tracking it. And then so we went through, what did you eat yesterday, man? What you eat? And we added it up in MyFitnessPal, and he had like 1,000 calories yesterday. Like, of course,
nothing.
Of course you're fucking, you don't have energy, right? You got to eat more. But he wasn't hungry because of keto. So I will say, the people who do it right, sometimes they find it beneficial that they're not hungry. Like, that's a benefit. If you're doing it properly, like, you shouldn't be hungry at all. In fact, sometimes I have to make sure I'm hitting the right amount. I'm getting enough calories, you know, because your hunger kind of escapes you.
How many calories are you having a day?
It depends on what I'm going for, right? Like, if I'm doing a cut and I'm trying to get leaner, then I'll probably be somewhere around 2,000, 2,500 calories. but it also depends on how active I am, right? You know, there's something as far as burning fat, right? It doesn't matter what diet you're on. It's all about if you're burning more calories you consume. But these fucking fitness assholes, they don't tell people to wear a fitness tracker. Like the motherfuckers are guessing how much calories they burn, and they wonder why they're not getting in shape. So I recommend you get like the Apple. You can get an Apple Watch, but you know, I got different watches. Or you or I'm sorry, or Oura Ring, or fucking Fitbit, Whoop Band, anything to try to get a fair assessment of how many calories you're actually burning. And then you see how many you consume, and then it's just simple math. You know? Life is just math.
The stock market's volatility lately has been a good reminder of why we diversify our portfolios. New data from UBS shows private assets like fine art can be especially valuable when looking for low correlation, as they have historically moved independent of stocks. Now, according to Bloomberg, last year, art prices increased along with the highest total sales ever for major auction houses. And the art market has actually passed pre-pandemic levels. But how can you take advantage of this? Well, tens of thousands of everyday investors already use today's sponsor, Masterworks, where you can invest without needing millions of dollars or even an art degree. Every painting Masterworks has sold to date has delivered a positive return to their investors, including annualized net returns of 10, 17, and even 35% this year, among others. Also, Masterworks actually just completed their 16th exit, a consumer piece just a few weeks ago. Now, shares of each offering are limited, but you guys get special access to skip the waitlist. All you have to do is go to masterworks.art/Layah. So I'm curious, are there any like superhuman foods? And are there any bad foods?
Superhuman foods?
Yeah, they say like blueberries and honey and raw milk.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. This is what I'm hearing. I guess that's why you're here to tell me that I know nothing.
No. I'm not saying that. Like blueberries definitely have a lot of benefits. You know, for example, they're full of antioxidants, which can help in certain aspects of different health parameters. And you know, but it's like, again, it depends on what your goals are, right? You know, it depends on what your goals are, and what you're trying to accomplish, and what your body needs. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's super hard for me to make broad prescriptions for the general population. You know? Okay,
so is there anything that's bad? Okay, so the reason I ask is because I hear that that oats, because everybody loves oats, but I hear those are bad because it's like anti-nutrients.
Bad in what way?
So it like absorbs the nutrients of other things that you have. So apparently oats is bad. Apparently greens like spinach is bad, and broccoli is bad, and asparagus is bad. Please give me your take. I've been arguing with my brother about this, and I've been arguing with loads of people about this.
I know the carnivore guys, they say that a lot, you know, and if that's their experience, and that's, you know, I'm not here to dispute that, you know.
Yeah. You're so diplomatic.
It's not like diplomatic, it's honest, right? You can get on. You know, the easiest way to blow up on social media is to go on different podcasts and talk crazy, or talk crazy on your own podcast, because that's the easiest way to blow up and get attention, right? You'll galvanize the people who agree with you, and you'll piss off the people who don't. And it's easier to piss people off than it is to make them happy.
Correct.
Right? Think about it. It's easier to piss people off than make it happy, right? So it's like low hanging fruit. It's fucking, you know, they might not have shit that's compelling on their own right, so it's easy to be divisive, right? Being divisive is a surefire way to get notoriety, you know? And I just don't need to do that shit, you know? I already got it popping, so I don't need to go I don't need to be out here pissing people off just to make them mad. Because the truth is, I've trained, like, some of these assholes on the internet, you know, some of them, not everybody, smart people, but some of these motherfuckers, they're just like fitness guys and fitness girls, but they ain't never been trainers. Or they never been trainers. Like, I've been a trainer since I was 16. You know what I'm saying? I'll be 41 this year, right? Like, how old are you?
Mid-20s. You can't ask a woman that question. But I just had my birthday, mid-20s.
Oh, well, happy birthday, man. Mid-20s, right? So I think about that. That means, like, possibly before you was born, I was training 10 people a day, you know, in the gym, right? Yeah. So this is like thousands of people. Literally thousands of people, especially then when I went online, I'm training so many people doing their diet plans and stuff. And now I train trainers. Like, I train trainers. So when you get that breadth of knowledge, it's not me being diplomatic. It can come off that way to fucking dummies. yo dumbass, because they don't know shit, right?
For sure.
And they used to listen to guys who are like real bombastic and have like, you know, unnecessary bravado, right? But for me, I just know the truth that like everybody's different, you know, and you want to, and if you're a really good trainer, you can train anybody with any methodology. You get what I'm saying? Like if you're really good, right? The motherfucker who thinks he's good can only help people, only help a certain kind of person do a certain kind of thing.
Right.
You give me anybody. You give me anybody, I help him accomplish his or her goal, and with whatever protocol you want. She come to me and say, "Man, I want to do vegan keto."
Oh my God, what is that?
Yeah, you can do it.
What
That's the
is
thing.
that?
You can do it because
Okay.
the ketogenic diet is just a macronutrient ratio, right? So you can get those same it's super difficult, but you can get those macronutrients in a vegan diet, right? If you wanted to. So I that's the most complex thing I can think of. I'm like, cool, let's do it. I come up with the plan, right? You know, put me in any situation.
To, like, give you a call after this. Like you seem like you know everything. Like it's good. It's good.
You know, and that's why. So like I appreciate you saying I was diplomatic, but I wasn't trying to be diplomatic. It's just when you really, what Socrates said, you know, I don't. Only thing I know is that I don't know, or some shit like that. Man, it was a long time ago, right? But you know, is the motherfucker who's sure about shit. He's probably the least knowledgeable. You know?
Yeah, it's like when they say somebody who can honestly say like I don't know, but let me find out and get back to you. Is like the most trustworthy and probably the more honorable individual than somebody who's like, oh yeah, like I
just know everything. I got it. It's like, you know,
I hate that.
It's called the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? Where people believe they learn a little bit, right? And it's what they didn't know, right? But now they learn a little bit and they think they know everything.
Right.
And you see that all over the internet, you know, like, and you see a guy, he got in great shape for himself, right? Or a girl, she got in amazing shape for herself. But that doesn't mean you can extrapolate that shit to the general population. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like
I like that response because, like, you know, I'm always trying different things, especially being in the States. I don't know how aware you are, but the food in the States is completely different to how it is in England. So when I first moved here,
English food is gross.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Is.
No, it's not.
Y'all got great Indian food, but you know, there's a reason motherfuckers had to die for y'all to get that food.
No,
you know, there's a lot of blood had to be shed for y'all to get that food, man. But it worked out. You know what I'm saying? It really worked out for y'all. The Indian food is good. Now the regular food, you might enjoy it.
No, so English, look, England's a large country. It's obviously not as big as the States. We have a variety of foods, but the main difference is the way that the food is.
Did you
processed.
say England was a large country? Shit is like smaller than Texas.
I know, yeah, it's true. But I said not as big as the States.
It's not a large country.
Well, the United Kingdom is a little bit bigger.
Okay.
And then we have Europe in general. Like we have a wide variety of foods, obviously, in Europe.
I'll give you that.
Thank you. But the way it's processed is completely different.
Yeah.
So, like, when I first came to the States, I was eating how I would eat in England, and like my whole body blew up. Like I wouldn't say I was fat. Gideon's like, don't tell people you're fat, because you weren't. So I wasn't fat, but my body just like blew up, and that's because of all like the hormones that they put in the food here.
Is that why?
Yes.
You sure?
Yeah. Well, you think I was like eating too much?
Well, no. You know, you ever heard of the Twinkie diet?
No.
All right, so you can Google this when you get a chance, right? There was a professor at some fucking school. The name escapes me, but he wanted to prove that really weight loss and weight gain was just calories in, calories out. So he went on diet primarily consisting of Twinkies, right? Like the fucking it's barely food, right? You know, and he lost a ton of weight just like managing his calories, you know?
Yeah, no, that's crazy. That's obviously like true and it matters.
I don't think you were eating that bad.
No, I wasn't eating that bad. But I just noticed like when I go out for dinner in America, my body just blows up compared to when I go out for dinner in England. Now you think I'm crazy, but it's true. So this leads me on to a question which I feel like you're just going to disregard now.
No.
I wanted to ask you about like the getting good meat in America, because like I find that there's a difference between getting like a steak, for example, from like Publix and Whole Foods versus going to a farmer's market. So is there a difference? Like what do you think? Where's the best place to get meat?
There probably is, man. But when you look at the statistics of like what people are really dying from in America, right? It's obesity related diseases, right? According to the World Health Organization, you know, 1,400 Americans die every day from obesity related diseases. They're not dying from fucking pesticides or meat that wasn't organic. Like the biggest threat to human life in America is obesity related diseases. It's like excess calories, you know what I'm saying? And so when people want to make everything organic, and I'm not against that, right? You know, I mean, I can pick out flaws in that, right? A lot of stuff that's labeled organic is they still spray with pesticides. It's just like it's just organic pesticides. They still have to use pesticides, otherwise fucking this shit's gonna get fucked up. The crops are gonna get fucked up. But some of those natural pesticides are just as carcinogenic as the synthetic ones. But whatever, you know, if you want to eat all the organic shit, that's cool, right? But I just think when people make a big deal out of that, they're majoring in the minors, right? You know, they're making a big deal out of the minors, right? And I see a lot of like, when people say that, you know, they're in a good position. They're like super privileged, right? Like where I'm from, Southside Chicago, like I'm from the hood, right? I can only eat organic meat, man. Nah, man, I hope I get food, you know? And it's like, am I going to eat today? You know what I'm saying? So like, that's the domain of the privileged, right? All organic meat, you know, and all that other shit. The truth is, man, a lot of guys, in my experience, a lot of people who I've seen who like make a big deal about that, right? And I'm not saying you're in fantastic shape. Your brother's in great shape. You know what I'm saying? Looks like he works out. He's in good shape. And it's I don't mean like you two, right? But a lot of times people will like use that as a scapegoat because it's easier for like somebody with like some disposable income to just throw money at a problem than it is to really like look at the fucking real truth. Is that, yo, you just eating too much, fat boy. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's like, so once you get your calorie consumption under control, then you can focus on the minor shit. I'm sorry, I hope I didn't answer your question.
No, that's good.
I just want people to focus on the major shit, you know?
Like, so what's the major stuff? Take me through it. What's the major stuff?
Consuming more calories than you burn. Getting fat is yo, 1,400 Americans die every day.
So being in a calorie deficit is like the most important thing.
If you want to lose fat, it's not the most important thing, it's the only thing. Right, you know, everything else is just another road to that path, right? You know, it's like if me and you wanted to go to the Heat game right now, we wanted to go to the whatever they calling it now, you know, whatever, man. You know, it's like we can take a bunch of different routes there, but as long as we get there, right? It doesn't fucking matter, right? You want to do keto, you want to be vegan, you want to eat regular shit, you want to do if it's your macros, it doesn't fucking matter as long as we get there, right? So, excuse me, like. Yeah, I call myself King Keto, right? You know, but I just call that self because I'm an arrogant asshole, right? You know, the truth is I'm not trying to push keto on anyone. Do whatever you want, man. I don't care what you eat as long as you eat the right proportions to help you accomplish your goal. That's like the major shit, man. That's the major shit. So 1,400 Americans dying every day. To put that in perspective, only 3,000 people died in 9/11.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's like just under 9/11 death numbers every other day.
Yeah.
But it's like we don't make a big deal about it because it's so gradual and it's so normalized, right?
Well, you know what we do? We celebrate it. We put fat women on the front of Cosmo and we say this is healthy.
You go in, and that's, you know what? But you know what it is, man. That's a negative consequence of the free market. I'm a free market economist, right? You know what I'm saying? Like I'm all about the free market, right? But that's a consequence of the free market, right? If the average American is 17 pounds overweight, the average is 17 pounds overweight, right? So it's like if you're cosmopolitan, you trying to sell these motherfucking magazines, you need to you got to appeal to your demographic. You know what I'm saying? So people want to blame the media, or they want to blame, like I'll be in Victoria's Secret buying shit for my girl and I see like fat mannequins, you know what I'm saying? That's like new shit, right? And but it's like, you know, one of my boys got mad. They trying to push this shit on, like they're not trying to push anything. Motherfuckers are just fat. And like the market they gotta appeal to that demographic somehow, right? Because that's a consequence of the free market economy.
Out of interest, do you not think it's like a little bit more sinister, or you just think it's like free market, like we got a fat audience, might as well cater to these fat people?
Yeah, same shit. You know, like when I used to be a model, right, there wasn't a lot of jobs for black models, right? You know, especially in the early 2000s. But that's not racist, right? We only represent 10% of the population, right? So if they want to make the most money, they need to go to the biggest demographic. It's not racist. It's just that's how the free market works, man. You know?
Well, I was thinking more like, you know, because like fat people, they'll develop all these health problems, and then they're going to be the biggest customer of big pharma, and they can make more money. I just wondered if you thought it was deeper. That's all.
Well,
more conspiratorial, because that's just
that's where your brain goes. All the Bitcoin people, they love conspiracies. Exactly. Listen, I'm not gonna say it's not. Maybe, but it could be that these people are getting fat. Let's monetize it.
Exactly.
All right. For me, that makes more sense instead of like a conspiracy to fatten up America and then make money of them. Me, it's like, they getting fat. We'll make money off this. But if you wanted to, but honestly, if they like people was one thing I know about humans is they will sell you anything, right? So if everybody decided they wanted to get healthy, then they do that shit, right? Like think about all the yo, man.
Share it with us. Like, I feel like you're processing a million things.
Yeah, think about like this shirt. It looked like some regular shit. It's Lululemon. It's expensive, Like as far as like, it's not like Louis Vuitton. Expensive. Yeah, but like that's athleisure, right? They made a whole new category to monetize fitness, right? The organic shit, like. It's so expensive, right? And it doesn't even have to be, right? Those
oh my god, like I feel so tricked right now.
That's where the conspiracy is, right? Like organic shit doesn't necessarily have to be more expensive, especially the produce, because the pets, they still use pesticides, right? So the organic pesticides are not like way more expensive than synthetic ones, right? But they're going to charge you that premium because they know that demographic is going to be people with disposable income, and they want to relieve them of that.
So
you know what I'm saying?
So stupid right now.
They'll monetize anything, right? It's just, I've trained enough people to know that people are just fat and lazy. You know what I'm saying? People are just fucking lazy. Man, these people suck, man. You know what I'm saying? Like the average American is a motherfucking dumbass loser, right? They got less than $1,000, like statistically, had less than $1,000 in the bank account, and that's why like immigrants, especially where I'm from, like in the hood, like you'll see some immigrants that come through, man, building. Oh man, some Chinese people that come in, like, oh shit, we gonna build a dry cleaner, right? We gonna sell laundromat. They come in and take advantage of it where people where I was from just like fucking sit. They've been there the whole time at the same advantages, right? And didn't capitalize on it because Americans, we a lot of us are fucking lazy, spoiled, entitled people, So they're gonna sit around just being lazy. If you would have put most of you motherfuckers in one of these shit countries, you'd be fucked up. You'd be real fucked up. You know what I'm saying?
That's an immigrant mentality.
Immigrants go so fucking hard, man. Like. They because they appreciate it, right? Like we don't. It's not necessarily our fault, right? Psychologists call it hedonistic adaptation, right? So when there's like luxuries or benefits that you experience on a consistent basis, you get used to them. They become normal. They normalize, right? So you don't appreciate them as much, And we're just a victim of that. But you can still rise above it. But immigrants come over here. They come from a shit show, right? And that's why they want to come here, right? Because this is the fucking greatest country in the world, man. Y'all are, your home is a close 5th or 6th, But they want to come here. Nah, I fuck with England really hard. London's like my second favorite city in the world.
It's okay. I don't like it. I don't really like it. So you can say what you want. You're good.
I fucks with London, man. You know what I'm saying? They really like the women really like black Americans over there. You know what I'm saying?
Do they?
Like in my experience.
Oh, in your experience.
Like, I was exotic when I went over there. You know what I'm saying? Because all the other black guys, they either like from there or they African.
Yeah. I think America has like more mixed looking people than I guess we have in England. I think. I don't know.
Listen, I don't know the demographics. I just know as soon as I hit Heathrow, man, this fucking it's like I feel like Michael Jackson in the 80s.
The women loved you.
It's like I'm fucking Chris Brown as soon as I hit Heathrow.
What's your background?
I'm not 100% sure,
Okay.
I'm for all intents and purposes I'm black because that's how I grew up and that's how I was raised, but my mom was black and white. My dad was an orphan. Like he didn't know none of his family, right? But
are you like? Do you have any like Latin? You have any like Hispanic in you?
We think so, man. My dad spoke Spanish and he had brown curly hair. My hair is brown and curly back in the day, And he spoke Spanish and like for no reason, but he, we wasn't.
Yeah.
We're not really sure.
I think it's like the little bit of like Hispanic potentially in you, which gives you that like exotic look to the for English people to look at. I think because we don't really have people like that.
No say.
There we go. Okay, well there you go. It adds to the mystery.
Yeah, I never even looked into it. Like people
you don't want to do 23andMe.
I don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
right. It's like for
good.
what what I'm gonna say. Like it's I'm the future, man. One day everybody gonna look like me.
Yeah, no, that's
everybody
true. That's what
like
they say.
They're gonna look like me and Bruno Mars.
Except they're gonna be fatter.
They're gonna be fatter, man.
I'm sure
Yeah, no, I'm excited for that. Like a lot of times people get mad. Almost all my friends are like super right wing Republicans and shit, and that's kind of funny to me.
Wait, why is that funny?
It's funny because I didn't grow up like that. I didn't grow up. I'm apolitical. I don't give a fuck, right? No matter who's in office, I'm gonna find a way to win. You know what I'm saying? That's
the mindset.
Yeah, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, you have a great mindset. I'm curious.
Thank you.
Where did that come from? Because you said you came from, and I quote, the hood.
Yeah.
You said you came from Chicago and South side. I don't know what that means, but apparently that means that's the worst side.
That means something.
Yeah. It's like the South side of London. It's not great either.
Its reputation is it's
real.
Yeah, it speaks for itself.
Yeah. So you obviously come from the South side of Chicago. You've built this 8-figure business.
Yeah.
You don't care who's the president, which is amazing because that's like not victim mentality. Everybody blames their problems on I can't get a job because Trump's president, or like I can't get a job because Biden's taxing all of us. Everybody outsources their problems, and yet you're here and you're just like, I don't care what color I am, I don't care what my background is. Fact is, I'm gonna do well. I'm doing well, and that's all that matters. So, how did you get that mentality? Where did that come from?
You know what, man? It's probably from a lot of hardships. If I'm being honest, there was a lot of hardships, and I had to find ways to win. My father committed suicide when I was like in my early 20s, and I had to like take care of the whole family. I had to figure shit out, and it wasn't really even time to mourn or to be sad about it. So and it was during 2008, right, during the recession, the Great Recession. So we had like record unemployment in New York. I mean, in the United States, fucking the world, right? And you might be too young to really like understand what 08 was like, but it was like a real scary time, like financially, for the world economy. And there was people with master's degrees who was working at Starbucks, like for real,
Wow.
Like it was some other shit. But I was like, this is where I'm at. I really have time to mourn. So I just started working. I was a trainer, right? I would wake up at 4, train people in the morning, shower at the gym, then go work security. Then I did that 5 days a week, right? And then on the weekends, I would train people in the morning. Then I managed a restaurant in Queens, New York. I was a weekend manager of that restaurant. So I was working like 7 days a week, 12, 14 hours a day, for like 2 years, right? Right after my father killed himself, because I had to dig my mom and my, sister and grandma out of the hole we were in. And I just noticed that, oh shit, man, if I could work my way out of that problem, I can like work my way out of any problem, man. So it's like, I don't give a fuck who wins the election. I mean, I may have preferences I may have preferences, but it's not, I don't have a strong bias either way. I'm like, all right, if this happens, then I'll do this. If this happens, I'll do that, right? Like when I ain't like a lot of the shit that was happening in New York. I lived in Manhattan for like 15 years, and I was like, all right, I just moved, right? I wasn't even fucking tripping about it, I wasn't like crying like all my fucking friends. It was weird, man, because sometimes I feel like sometimes my right wing friends are fucking crying more than my left wing friends. I have a real eclectic friend group, and it's like they don't even realize they're crying. Like they're always complaining about shit. I'm like, man, just get money, man. We'll just figure it out. We're gonna get money no matter what. We can't just we can't control the election. I had one friend, close friend. This dude was like he's one of the best ad buyers in the world, or he was, right? There's a lot of like, 9-figure companies that he was running their ads for, right? And then when Trump lost the election, he like was one of the guys who stormed the Capitol. Like he's in prison now, And I was like, the fuck is you doing, man? Like what was you trying? What did you think you was gonna accomplish, dummy? You know what I'm saying? Like what the fuck did you think you was gonna accomplish? It's so weird that people like let the outside circumstances influence them that way. I'm just like, yo, whatever happens, I'm gonna find a way to win. I'm gonna find a way to be victorious no matter what. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's powerful.
Yeah,
that's incredible. And how did you move then your offline, in real world business to the online.
Yeah.
And when did you do that? And how did you know, like, okay, there's a market for this. This is like a super smart thing that I can do.
You know, so when it comes to online training, it's like I was one of the pioneers in that field. I don't want to say I invented it, but I was definitely in the class of people who were pioneering that. And because this was like early 2009, 2010, you know, and I was reading a lot of books, you know, on the train in New York and, you know, going back and forth. And I read The 4-Hour Workweek by Tim Ferriss. And that was a book that was like, oh, wait a minute. What if I started training people online? It was a novel idea at the time, right? It was a novel idea, and it wasn't like a precedence for it, right?
What year was this? Did you say?
Like 2009, 2010.
Oh wow!
You know,
okay. Yeah.
Instagram didn't exist.
No, that's a crazy idea. Yeah. Okay.
So it was wild that then we had to figure it out.
Yeah.
And then one thing I did was I said, okay, maybe if I can just like track what these people are eating each day, right? I can help them lose weight, and I can give them the workout, right? Now, they may not have perfect form. They might not do it great, right? But I know that diet's the most important thing. Like, you can't out-train a bad diet. But you can out-diet bad training.
You can out-diet bad training.
You can out-diet, But you can't you know what I'm saying?
Needed a second there.
Nah, that's all good. Take your time, man. Take as much time as you need. You know, and we got, I thought that, okay, all I got to do is track their calories and their macros each day, right? And get them to track it and send it to me. So we were doing that, and we figured that out. And what I noticed was those online clients were getting better results than in-person clients because I wasn't doing that with the in-person clients. Almost no in-person trainer tracks all their clients' macros, like almost none of them, right? And I was like, holy shit, these motherfuckers are losing more weight, right? And then I was like, okay, I need to find out how to replicate this. And so I was getting more clients, and I would notice that I can charge them less and I can work less, right? Because I don't have to be in the gym with them for an hour. They're not paying me for a time like a fucking prostitute. They're not paying me for the hour. They're paying me for the results. They're paying me for the training plan and the accountability, right? And they were getting great results. So I was like, fuck this, man. We need to take that. You know, and that's kind of how it started, you know what I'm saying? And now, I was able to build that, keep going. And I built that up to like, you know, multi 7 figures. And then, you know, I had a supplement line at one point, and then I started, you know, at the same time I'm building YouTube, and I got my YouTube pretty big, you know, a few 100,000 followers at the time. And I started managing, other influencers, like people who had big following. We would help them monetize it. So I started running their businesses, running the ads for them, running the, they didn't know how to do it either, right?
Yeah.
Running the ads for them, running the programs. I had staff, you know, basically doing everything. All they had to do was make the videos. You know what I'm saying? And those are lucrative deals. You know, they made more money than they had ever made, and you know, we were able to make a bunch. And then now I teach other people how to start their own online business.
Okay.
My business, a high ticket trainer. That's my main business that I run now. Yeah, it's super dope.
Yeah, no, it's incredible. And there are clearly like so many different ways to make money online. And some people still don't get it. Their brains still don't click when you tell them, you know, you can make money from anywhere in the world. I'm curious, can we give like a little bit more, I guess I want to give more value to the audience about different ways that people can make money online. So, you know, you talk about like being a fitness trainer, then teaching people how to do what you did, building their businesses. What other way? Because I know a lot of, like, I do crypto. I also do Forex, which I'm going to talk more about later. But like, what other ways can people make money online?
Well, you know, like, business is super simple. It's like people make shit more complex than they need to, you know? And it's really, business is providing a product or service to people for more money than it costs you to deliver it. Right? That's all it is, right? So you got to just have some sort of product or service that people find valuable, and then you got to learn marketing and sales in a way so you're able to convince them to buy it, you know, so it's appealing to them, you know. So
what about like hiring marketing people, or would you say as an entrepreneur you should be able to do everything? You
know, so here's the thing about business. That's why starting it is so hard. Like, you got to do everything first, right? You got to learn all these different skill sets. You got to learn whatever product or service you're delivering. You got to make sure that's good, right? So the product development, right? And then you got to learn marketing. And if you're doing sales, you got to learn sales. Then you got to handle the customer service. Then if you start that's why. Then when you start making some money, you start hiring people. But now you got to learn how to hire people, how to manage teams, and you got to learn leadership. It's super difficult.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's super difficult. And that's why, majority of businesses fail. Like only 5% of businesses get to the $1 million mark because it's just super difficult. There's so much to learn, and I don't know if I'm answering your question.
No, you're good. Yeah. I mean, do you think anyone can be an entrepreneur and do what you did and, lift themselves out of poverty?
Anyone can lift themselves out of poverty for sure. Like motherfuckers is lazy. I don't know about the whole entrepreneur shit, but like, because, it takes a certain, think about it, 80% of businesses fail, right?
Yeah.
Would you get in a car that 80% of them fucking crashed?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Would you if you had an 80% chance of fucking getting sick from a meal, would you eat it?
No.
Like it's you got to be super, almost like crazy to do it, and your risk tolerance has to be super high. You got to be really persistent, and because you're really persistent, because a lot of times people say, man, I tried this and it didn't work. It's like, you're just not good at it yet.
Yeah.
Right? That doesn't mean it doesn't work. It's just you couldn't get it to work. Somebody could have, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, most people don't have that, So I don't know if anybody can be an entrepreneur. Even like when people want to join my program to be a personal trainer, like we be like, hey man, there's gonna be a lot of hard work. You sure, man?
Yeah.
Like for real. Like you sure, man? You sure you don't want to fucking just have your regular job, get that paycheck, man?
Yes.
And like then spend the rest of your time with your fucking friends and family, man. Like, cause especially if you want to make $1 million, that shit gonna take everything.
Yeah.
It's really gonna take everything. Like it's gonna take everything. You're gonna lose a lot. That amount of sacrifice is not everybody's cut out for it. And I know it's real like popular in these entrepreneur podcasts and shit to just say you got to do it. You got to pump people up and tell them to do it. Like, man, you ain't got to do shit. In fact, if you don't want that, if you don't want that, I kind of admire you. Like I
trust me, I get it. Yeah.
I'm a little jealous. Yeah. Like that you don't have the same ambitions, right? Because I feel like my ambition has been a curse. You know what I'm saying? Like I could have, I made a whole lot of money. You know what I'm saying? A whole lot of money, but like it's like a fucking behind me, man. It's a trail of fucking tears and damage. You know what I'm saying? Like late night sweats, fucking ruined relationships. Failures. It's like and those stories are everyone, right? Everyone has a stories. And even though I sell a course, not a course, but I sell a coaching program on how to become an entrepreneur. Like if you don't want to do that shit, I get it, bro. Like this shit is not for everybody, man. And there's a lot of people who would be happy with just a job they enjoy, man. It's like a lot of people would be happy with a job they enjoy, man.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty good way to look at it.
Yeah, and there's no shame in that. Like these entrepreneur motherfuckers would try to shame people into it. If you got a job, you're a dummy. You're stupid. Like, yo, shut up, man. Shut your bitch ass up, man. So the fucking the fuck up. I be wanting to fight these motherfuckers because it's just not. It's not the truth, and it's not reality, and it's not even how the world works, right? We need people to have jobs. Like we need doctors, we need paramedics, we need police officers. You know what I'm saying? Like these are important parts of our community. You know what I'm saying? And to say that and to fucking shame this person for working hard, it's kind of beyond. It's beyond my comprehension.
Yeah, no, you make a really good point. There's a lot of hysteria right now about being an entrepreneur, and you got to do this, you got to be up at this time, and you ain't got to do shit, man. Yeah,
if you want to though, right? If you want to though, you should go for it, right? The people who want to do it, right? They'll self-select. It's kind of like I don't try to guide people down that path because I know how much pain it's gonna cause them to go down that path. Like if you want to make $1 million, like it's gonna be it's gonna be painful, and it's gonna cost you everything.
And I think it's not just like money and business. It's just like if you generally have higher standards for yourself in life, then it's a it sucks. It's a bit of a curse, isn't it? Because you're just there, just like, oh no, only this works, and you have to get that, otherwise you're not going to be happy.
I don't try to persuade people to go down that path, right? But if they want to go down that path, all right, let's go. I'll be like, if you want to climb Mount Everest, I'm the fucking Sherpa, right? But it's like I'm not trying to say everybody should climb Mount Everest. You got to self-select for that, you know.
Yeah.
I'm
And
not trying to
how
force
do
you.
people do that? So like, what kind of individual would make a good entrepreneur? Like, what qualities do they need?
You know what, man? I think you got to be good at it's funny, man. Like the qualities I think would make a good entrepreneur, that person is probably less likely to go down that path, right? Because you got to be willing to learn. You can't have you kind of can't have an ego in the sense of like, you know, everything, like, you know what's right. Cause you gotta be super like willing to learn and take mentors, be a mentor, be an apprentice. You know what I'm saying? The mentor apprentice relationship is like the only relationship that never fails. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, that's the only form of learning that never fails. The mentor mentee relationship, right? You know, you can read a book about swimming, but that ain't gonna make you Michael Phelps, right? And you can read a book about Navy SEALs, man, but that don't mean you ready to go to Iraq. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you want to be a Navy SEAL, you got to be a mentee. You got to go to buds, and you got to train with the fucking people who already did it, and they got to show you the path, and you got to be humble enough to walk that path, right? And it's the same shit with entrepreneurship. Like, you're gonna have to get mentors. Maybe you're gonna have to pay them. Maybe you're gonna have to work for somebody. You know, like, for example, one of my my boy Harry Simones, he's from London. He was an intern of mine, and he wanted to start this company for athletes, like nice shirts and clothes for athletes. And I was like, you know what I'm saying? I help you out. He wanted to work with us, so he started working for me for like years, and you know, he learned a lot, and I was helping him with his ads. And he went on and did his thing, man. And he built this company called Tailored Athlete, right? And they make like you know, last I checked, he was doing in 2019, he was doing like $2 million a year. You know what I'm saying? And he's like under 25. You know,
Wow.
But so I don't even know how much he's doing now. Like, I gotta check in him. He's coming to Miami soon. But it's like that mentor-mentee relationship helped him expedite that process, right? But that's not always like the guy who's gonna do it, right? The guy who's gonna jump into it is got a guy's fucking, you know, he's full of fucking Red Bull, cocaine, or some shit. And he's like all hype, and he just wants to do it. And he thinks he's the man, especially here in Miami, you know. And you know, this guy, he's gonna have a harder time, I think. You know.
Yeah, because
I think he's gonna have a harder time.
I guess because like it's sort of coming from the wrong place. It's coming from a place of like, I want to be the man,
Yeah.
and like I want to show what I'm doing, as opposed to like, this is something that I love, and this is like my baby, and it's something that I want to grow and turn into something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, maybe, right? You know, I think you're right about the first part, because to build a big business, right, is super rare to meet a one-person $1 million business. You know what I'm saying? So at some point, you're gonna have to like start hiring people and be a leader, right? But the kind of guy that you described, like, he thinks it's all about him, right? So
Right.
I look at leadership like the people who I lead, like, I work for them, right? They took the risk to join you know, the path I'm going on, right? They could be doing something else, and my job is to make sure they're taken care of. So like, I remember especially in the earlier days, it was sometimes, man, I had to pay everybody, and you know, I don't get paid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's like, you know, but that's the price of leadership. You know, you got to lead from the front, kind of like when the birds fly in that V formation.
Yeah.
Right? They do that because the bird in front is working the hardest, right? But because of the aerodynamics, it makes it easier for the other birds to fly, and that's how they can go like long distances. But the bird in the front, he's the leader, right? He's working the hardest.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? He's working for the team, right? And that's how I look at it, man. Like, you know, sometimes I want to chill or take a day off or do shit, but like, nah, man, this fucking team is dependent on me, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? I can't never let them down. I'm gonna make sure I make payroll. I'm gonna make sure I help them accomplish their goals. You know, they got kids, they got families. You know, I need to make sure they eat. You know, and even the students, right? Like, my clients, I lead them too. I was like, I got to make sure that they good. You know, whatever I got going on in my life, you know, whatever troubles or trauma I'm going through, I gotta like put that aside for the team, right? Because that's what a leader's supposed to do, right? So the guy who's like thinks it's all about him, he ain't gonna do that. He gonna fail. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, I really respect that mindset. I think it's a mindset which is lacking in society now.
Yeah.
You know, it's very stoic. It's very disciplined. And something that I have noticed, and I'm curious if you've noticed this or felt any of this. You know, if a man is saying, you know, I want to be a leader, it naturally comes with aggression and a level of competitiveness,
Mm-hmm.
and all of that. I feel like these sort of character traits are these sort of traits are called like toxically masculine, and are sort of shamed, and young men are told not to be like that.
Yeah.
So have you noticed anything like this? Have you had any like backlash for being the way that you are? I'm just curious.
I get a lot of backlash anyway. You can't please everybody. Nobody gets unanimous praise, right? They killed Jesus. From what I hear, he seemed like a pretty cool guy. You know what I'm saying? It seemed like he had some good ideas. But I don't know. As far as what you're talking about, though, I never got backlash for that, right? Because I'm talking about leadership from the point of like, understand, like I work for them, right?
Mm-hmm.
I work for the people I lead. My job is to make sure that they are good. You know what I'm saying? And then as a result, the whole team wins. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I gotta go the hardest. So I think the guys who get that backlash, they get on the podcast or fucking whatever and say, I gotta lead, I'm gonna be leader, and they try to force that shit upon people, right? But that it's if you was really the man, people would be excited to follow you. You wouldn't have to say nothing. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
Like I'm not out here like struggling to get people to work for me, man. I'm turning down applications. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm not we not like running ads to get. We got fucking tons of applications every day, for people who want to work and fill different positions, because once you're popping, once you got it popping, right, people want to attach themselves to you, right? So the guy who's like yelling about he needs to be the leader is just like, oh, that's a pure reflection that he doesn't have enough pop. He doesn't have it popping in a way where people are excited to be led by him. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like if he was really getting it popping, then they would want to do it. You know,
yeah, everybody would know about
it.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? So like you got to be. So he probably should do some more self-reflection.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I've been reading some statistics which say that men's testosterone has plummeted. So apparently what is regarded as high or normal now, according to doctors and experts, would be seen as low back in like the 60s or 70s. Do you have any insight on that? Do you know why that might be?
Men's testosterone levels? Nah. Anything I say be pure speculation.
Yeah. Oh, really? Yeah. Well, I mean, a lot of men are trying. Okay, so men try and get their testosterone levels up. They're taking, what do they take? Like Tren or something? Yeah, they take Tren and stuff like that.
Like anabolic steroids. That's different. They're not trying to get like reach. They're not trying to get their shit like to a normal rate. They're trying to be like, superhuman.
What is your take on something like that? Do you think that's good or bad?
Listen, I don't give a fuck about what nobody does with their own body, man. That's none of my business. Like life becomes,
from like a trainer's perspective, like of course, like if people are trying to reach certain levels, they want to look like you, but maybe perhaps they naturally have a much smaller build. Like you're built naturally quite big.
Nah, I'm super skinny.
Not?
Super skinny.
Really?
Yeah, I'm super skinny.
Well, I take that back.
No, it's all good. I started taking testosterone replacement testosterone replacement therapy when I was 38, right? Because I just noticed I was just a little bit of a lack of energy. Didn't have as much vigor as I once had, and I went to the doctors. They was running on tests on me, and they were doing blood work. And the only thing that came back was that my testosterone was kind of low.
So that's the thing. I'm surprised that they'd say it's low, because nowadays maybe it's your hair and Miami's different. I don't know.
No, I was in New York.
Okay,
but it was low for even what the standard is now. And so they just get. Now I take the testosterone replacement therapy. You know what I'm saying? I've been doing that for 2 years. It's been fantastic. But I was in great shape before that. But the key is, man, if you want to do what I did, you just gotta do what I did. So for example, I'm an extremist. This is what you know of me. I'm like a fucking crazy person.
Okay.
Like
you seem pretty chill right now.
I'm chill. But like calm. In real life, as it pertains to my goals or the acquisition of like capital or anything I'm trying to accomplish, man, like I'm dead serious, And but I've been keeping the scale on me at all times, a food scale on me for like 10 years.
Damn.
So you ask me like anything, any day, pick any day, 10 years, I can tell you exactly what I ate, how many macros, how much proteins I've been doing.
And you track everything every single day?
Everything every single day, yeah. And how much I burn, right? Because it's all calories in, calories out. Life is just math. This is what I'm trying to say. People, I wish people understood this. Like life is so much simpler than people think, but they want to make it more complex. It's just math. So as it pertains to losing weight or building muscle, it's math, right? You want to lose fat. Cool, man. Burn 500 calories a day, right? Put yourself in a 500 calorie deficit. So check how many you're burning each day, right? Eat 500 calories less than that each day, right? You'll burn 3,500 calories that week if you do that, 7 days a week, and that's 3,500 calories is 1 pound of fat, right? So you do that for 10 weeks, you lose 10 pounds of fat. Super simple. It's like, but it's all that, like, that's life in general. Like, there's nothing is complex about this shit. We just make it complex because we care. We all give a fuck about shit that we don't really need to give a fuck about. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know, man. People are just always so upset and emotional about shit that's like not really important. If they just really focused on the parameters they needed to focus on to accomplish their goals and kind of just ignore the rest, right? Like, I don't give a fuck what nobody else is doing with their body, man. I don't give a fuck. Like, I see people like getting mad over like certain shit. They see, they're doing this, they're doing that. Like, I don't give a fuck what they doing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm just trying to.
That makes sense. You remind me. There's like this meme. I doubt people have seen it. It's just something which I thought was always funny, and you remind me of it. And it's kind of like, at the end of like a long meeting when everybody has all these different opinions, if you just chime in at the end and you say it's all about finding a balance, everyone's going to go, yeah. Like, that's what you just remind me of. You're just like, it's all about finding a balance. And,
life is way simpler than people make it out to be. Man.
But do you not think, okay, just back to the food for a sec. Is there anything which is like bad though? Like, I'm curious, what do you think about like protein powders? What do you think about like protein bars? Are these bad or
For what? For like, as far as what reason? Like,
to like,
bad for what?
I don't know. Apparently there's like stuff inside it which is bad for you, like bad for your gut, bad for your digestion.
What are you talking about?
I don't know. Because this is what I keep hearing.
I mean, like, if you had like the question is just too vague.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
Bad in what way and bad for who?
Okay, so let's take me as an example.
All right.
I eat 5 times a day.
Okay, cool.
So I have like breakfast, snack, lunch, snack, dinner.
All right.
Right. And I don't mean like unhealthy snack. It'll obviously be like a small meal or something.
Okay.
And I had a nutritionist that recommended protein bars.
Okay.
And I really like them because I just feel like they just fill me up and it's perfect and like gives me the energy and I'm good to go. And it's like quick and it's fast. But people around me, including my brother and some other people that we filmed with and production people we filmed with, say don't eat those.
Why?
I don't know, Gid. Why? Is it bad? Why don't you come on and tell us? Okay. He's been in my ear. No, I just
want to know. I want to know why. I mean, I'm not saying he's right or wrong. I'm just kind of out of curiosity.
Let's hear what he thinks.
Yeah, I mean, all I'm saying is, I think the body wants to have something really natural, and protein bars, other supplements, protein powders. It's very hard for your body to break them down, and maybe your acidic levels have to go higher.
Oh, protein powder is hard in comparison to what?
In comparison to having, let's say, a steak, grilled chicken breast.
Oh, so wait a minute. So protein powder is more difficult to digest that?
Yes, because it's highly processed, and your stomach isn't. Our bodies haven't evolved to eat processed food. It's the same thing if you had like a processed burger. The same thing as opposed to having like a really raw burger or raw steak or raw grilled chicken.
What are the ramifications of that?
Gut inflammation, stomach ache. Constipation.
Is those problems you have? You constipated?
I love it. Oh. I'm great.
So like, for example, I used to have like a lot of protein bars as well, and I would find that they would like they would just give me bad stomach ache unless my stomach was completely empty. It was ready to just like take it all down. But let's say I had it with something else. It's like it's too much food. And
you haven't had that experience.
No, there we go. No, I love all the protein stuff. Like, I love the protein yogurts, the protein powder.
Different, right? Like everybody's different. So like I'm not trying to negate your experience, right? But like, there's some shit. For example, if I was to eat like something real sugary right now, I would be so super tired after. You know what I'm saying? Because my body's not accustomed to that, right? But like, you can eat the same thing and you might be fine, right? Yeah. So like, I don't know. I think, listen, I'm not trying to negate anything you guys are saying, right? I'm just saying, like, I think humans are super eager to impose our viewpoints and our ideologies on other humans. Like
So glad you're here
humans
right
are
now.
like, no, I mean, it's a natural thing, you know, that, I mean, that's how religion gets spread. You know what I'm saying? Like motherfuckers have war just to fucking spread a religion. It's like, why you give a fuck what I believe? You know what I'm saying? Like it's weird. You know, people get mad if you say that this ain't gonna work or this will work. And it's, you know, because we're tribal people, right? So like it's in our DNA. We're descendants of people who like grew up in tribes, and the more aligned you were with the tribe, the greater your you know, it's like prehistoric times, right? It's a long time ago. The more you align with a tribe, the greater your statistically, the more likely you are to survive, right? And those people, they did survive, right? And they passed their genes on to the rest of us and their DNA, and so it's in us to want to like group these camps, you know, whether you see it in the fitness industry. CrossFitters, man, they think that's the best. Powerlifters think that's the best. Bodybuilders think that's the best. Vegans think their shit is the best. Keto guys think their shit is the best. You see it all type fucking cities. You know what I'm saying? Like sports, you know, like whatever you like, we want to fucking almost like we want to evangelize everything we believe in. But I don't know, for me personally, I just always tried to like mitigate my natural inclination to impose my viewpoints upon others, you know, in a way where it's like, you know, man, if you find something that works for you, man, then I'm excited for you. I want you to keep doing it, you know?
Yeah, I'm just getting the mic. I completely agree with that. No, I think the tribalism, like we're in crypto a lot as well, and there's lots of tribalism there. Like, oh, Bitcoin's the best, Ethereum's the best. So I agree with you on that for sure. And your analysis on the whole, like, why we do it is spot on. You're so right. Like, it's prehistoric times. We want to fit in with the group and stuff like that. And Layah was looking at me when you said imposing your will, because I told Layah a lot of things, and maybe it gets too much. I don't know, but like
okay,
just back to the food thing.
But he means well, right? Like he's not trying to be like nobody's. I don't think most people aren't trying to be assholes, right?
Yeah,
they just, you know, you get like a serotonin rush when you are in part of a tribe, like it builds it makes you want to defend that tribe and like get excited about it, right? You know. It's weird, man. If I go to another city, you know, I live in Miami now, but if I meet somebody from Chicago, like we're all excited, but I don't like everybody in Chicago. Like motherfuckers in Chicago robbed me and shit, you know. Like I had to fuck up a lot of people in Chicago, man. I had to send motherfuckers in Chicago to the emergency room, right? But it's like soon as we're outside, it's like, oh, we're now with tribes. Yeah. now it's us, you know. It's normal shit, you know. And I most of the time, people mean well, especially like in your sibling relationship.
Yeah, like obviously I'm always, it comes from a place where I'm looking out for Layah for sure, 100%. But just back to the food thing, I was just going to say, this is my personal experience, and I know it's also helped a lot of people. So I've completely cut out all carbohydrates.
Yeah.
Except for of course.
Even with what I just said, I got excited when I heard you say that.
Yeah,
right? I was like, he's one of us.
He's one of us.
That's a natural thing.
I don't
man.
eat. It's mainly starch carbohydrates. So I don't eat potatoes, pasta, flour. What else? Rice. I will only get my carbs from like avocado, blueberries, maybe an apple or banana, because banana is so high in sugar. I've cut out sugar as well. I just don't want to spike my blood sugar levels. And that's worked for me because I found carbs, again, because a lot of it was processed, refined, and it's not natural. Like we only started with carbs like 10,000 years ago with crops and all this kind of stuff in China. Like my body, or I think everyone's, hasn't evolved to digest this stuff. And I love having an all animal-based diet, not carnivore, I would say, but animal-based. So like if it walks, swims, or flies, I eat it. Plus a little bit of fiber.
Fried up. Yeah.
No, I mean that's working for me a lot.
But even like him saying that, like I was like, oh man, he's one of us, right? It's like it's a natural inclination, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's normal.
I'm curious to know, can you tell us your diet? I'd love to hear, like, can you walk us through like what you're eating, and also like your training, how often you're training and what time you get up, go to sleep. I'm very curious to hear this, if that's okay.
Yeah, no problem. For me, man, it's like, first of all, I just want to say, man, like, I don't want nobody to attempt to try to do what I'm about to say. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. I feel like this is like, you know, WWE. Nobody try this at home.
Don't do this shit, man. Like, one is, you know, you motherfuckers ain't as tough as me, right? You know, and I say that with love. You know, you're gonna hurt yourself. You're gonna fucking hurt yourself, or you're not gonna be able to do it, and it's gonna fuck with your self-esteem. You know, and I want you to have like a long, loving, happy life, you know, with the people you with the people you care about. All right. So for me, it's like I get close to like 0 carbs every day, like 0 net carbs at least, right? So I might get some carbs, but you know, net carbs are different.
Where
right?
do you get those carbs from?
You know, it'll be like trace amounts and shit. You know, like
okay.
it'll be like, you know, cheese might have like 1 or 2 carbs in there. You know, not even milk, right? You know, if I'm a big fan of protein shakes, whey protein shakes. So I drink a lot of those throughout the day in order to get my protein levels up real high. And you know, the way whey protein is made, it's like whey protein it's a byproduct of the cheese manufacturing process, right? So it's like, and it's in baby food and shit, you know, like I don't know, I figure like I'm tougher than a baby, right? And babies baby is in baby formula, it don't be killing babies. I think I'd be alright, you know. So but that's just me, right? You know, I want everybody to do what's best for them, man. You know, I want everybody to be happy, man. Stay positive and optimistic. But for me, there's a lot of protein shakes, you know, a lot of meat, eggs, a lot of meat and eggs, man. You know what I'm saying? and a lot of cheese. This morning I had just a fucking ton of cheese eggs, and I weighed it.
But like, what does that mean? Like, how many eggs did you have?
Yeah, no. So I ordered it, right? So I had to weigh it, because you know when you get like eggs just made like that, they don't necessarily tell you how many eggs, and I don't even trust them motherfuckers sometimes, right? So I just weighed it. It was like 10 ounces of eggs.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And then I had 2 protein shakes, and that's all I had today so far, right? But it's early, you know, it's like 2:45, and I'll probably have some more. You know what? So here's what I eat: a big breakfast, right? And I eat a big dinner, and I have like shakes in between the day, right?
I like that.
Yeah. I really like that because eating slows me down. Not necessarily like with my diet, I don't get like crazy glucose spikes, so I don't get tired after I work. That's my main thing about keto, right? It keeps my blood levels like super stable. I wore a continuous glucose monitor for like a month just to see what interact, and almost every day I thought I was fasting because my glucose levels were so like flat, you know. And but there was a few things that spiked it, and that was cool. That was cool data to like take those things out of my diet, you know. And anyway, excuse me. Yo, fun fact, McDonald's. So I will say about the meat shit y'all talking about. I remember I was doing that blood glucose shit.
Yeah.
And I ate a McDonald's cheeseburger with no bun, right? No bun, just a patty and cheese, right? Fucking glucose levels spike.
There you go.
There's something else in there.
That's what I'm saying.
They're putting something else in. They're putting something else in there, right? But if I just get like some straight up brisket, not even organic shit, just brisket from the barbecue spot, shake flat. So it's like, it's interesting, you know. There's something going on in there. Anyway,
Sure.
The reason I don't get tired, I'm gonna answer your question. I promise you, I'm going.
It's okay. Take your time.
The reason I don't get tired after I eat, like a lot of people, they'll eat a big meal and they're tired.
Right.
You know, they get like afternoon slumps or you know, that don't happen to me because I'm on keto, right? So and the reason.
So what makes you tired?
Yeah, it's so when you're eating carbohydrates, right? That gets converted into glucose, right? And when your glucose levels go above 110, your blood glucose levels go above 110, your pancreas will secrete a hormone called insulin, right? And insulin's job is to like get rid of that excess blood sugar, right? But it'll take that shit from everywhere, and it'll take it like from your brain, and it's kind of indiscriminate about the way it takes it off, right? So you might get a fucking dip in blood sugar after that because it's taking so much out, and that's where the tiredness comes from. It's insulin's way of like protecting you and shit, right? Like, and it's a good thing that your body does that. If it didn't have that, you die, right? Like people with type 1 diabetes, they have to inject insulin because their bodies don't produce it, you know. Fun fact, most people with type 1 diabetes are super skinny. Like if you notice, like take an inventory of people you know who like born with type 1, they're probably like skinny, right? Because they don't make insulin. You know what I'm saying? Think about it. I don't know, just think about it, right? Because insulin is an anabolic hormone, but it's indiscriminately anabolic, right? So it'll help grow muscle cells and fat cells, right? You know what I'm saying? Like it's indiscriminately anabolic. So most people who are born with type 1 diabetes, they don't produce insulin, so they're like kind of super fucking skinny naturally most of the time. With type 2 diabetes, those fat boys who got like too fat and they, you know, and they lost insulin sensitivity. They had so much insulin that they don't have sensitivity to it anymore, so they have to inject it, right? But the type 1 diabetes, they were just born with it. Their just pancreas didn't make insulin. So they're super skinny. However, they'll die, right? If they eat the wrong thing, right? Hey, life's a game of trade-offs. Right. Anyway, so anyway, I'll still get like slow if I eat a big. If I sometimes not tired that same way, but I think it's just actual eating. Sorry, eating is time consuming. You got to stop work, eat. So I'd like to wait. I wake up at like I'll answer all the. I wake up usually around 4:35.
Wow.
Yeah. But I'll sleep it if my body needs more sleep. Like I can tell when I wake up. Listen, that's why motherfuckers can't do what I do, right? Because they'll just think, oh, I'm tired and go back to sleep. But I've been doing this shit for so long. I know I probably need more sleep today, and I'll take more if I need to, right?
And what time are you going to bed?
You know, I'm trying to get to bed at 9:30, 10.
9:30,
You know what I'm saying?
okay. That's
Yeah.
nice.
You know, it's just, you know, that's probably the hardest part.
Do you drink any alcohol? No alcohol.
No, I don't drink no alcohol,
Yeah.
man. No alcohol, no recreational drugs.
Yeah.
No alcohol, no recreational drugs, none of that shit. You know, I don't have no like bias against it. You know, I don't care what anybody does. In fact, if you like somebody who's competing with me, I suggest, man, you should go, man. Doesn't live life, enjoy life, man. Get as drunk as possible.
They're competing with you.
Get drunk
Yeah,
all the
of
time,
course.
man. Get high. You know what I'm saying? Fucking do all that shit. Man.
Yeah.
You gotta enjoy life, bro. You know. But for me, man, I want to stay on point. You know, and I wake up like 4, and I probably won't. I probably the first thing I do is I drink like this salt water contraption, like salt water, and this shit called it's called ketone aid. It's like exogenous ketones. It shit tastes like gorilla piss, right? I'd imagine. I don't have a lot of experience with it, but it's just like imagine. And yo, you take that shit on an empty stomach, man. It's like even if you're not on keto, you take that shit on an empty stomach, you're gonna feel like some kind of energy. If you can fucking deal with drinking it, it's fucking gross, right? I do that in like some salt water, and then I just start working like immediately. You know what I'm saying? I work until like the sun's about to rise, and then that's when I take the first break. I'll probably have 3-4 shots of espresso mixed with the protein shake.
Oh wow, nice.
I'm going hard out here, you know. And nice. And then it's like, you know, cold shower, shave, all this shit, and then I usually go walk as the sun's rising. I go for a walk on the fucking ocean. Like outside my house, I go for a walk. Nice. Then I that's probably the first gym session is coming back from there, right? And you know, most people work out for like an hour a day, right? That's normal, right? That makes sense, right? I do the same, but I break it up into 3 20-minute sessions. I don't have no data to support this, right? So like, whatever, you know what I'm saying? But my theory is, you know, when you work out for an hour in the morning, I used to do that, and I would be a little drained. You know what I'm saying? Especially if you do squats or deadlifts or something that's like, because those big compound movements are hard on your central nervous system. You know, that's why you get tired after. But if I do a 20-minute session, right, then I can just get back to work. I still got a lot in the tank, right? Then rest for a few hours, do some other shit for a few hours, then do another 20-minute session. Then, you know what I'm saying? And then another one at the end. It's the same amount of time, but it's like I wasn't like dead after the workout, especially because I go fucking hard when I work out, right? Like if it was people who say they love working out, man,
they're lying.
Well, it might be true. They just, you know, they're not working out the way I work out. They wouldn't love it if I trained them. You know what I'm saying? I made NFL players throw up, you know. Like like if you work out like I work out, you probably hate it. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't really like it. I don't really enjoy it. I never liked it. You know, it's just a means to an end. And but some people like it, and that's cool. I'm not trying to say they shouldn't. But I just do the 20 minutes, boom, back to work. And I just found like it breaks up the day a little bit, and I'm not like super tired after it. You know, that's very helpful. And I also have another theory about it. You know, like if you, let's say a boxer, right, 12-round fight. He's going to have more energy the first few rounds than he will the last few rounds, right? It's fucking normal, right? Because as you increase duration, intensity will naturally decrease, right? So what if you just had those beginnings, right? 3 of those beginnings, right? Then it stands to reason that it's the same amount of time, but because they're spread out, you can do each one of those like with that same beginning intensity, right? So the total amount of minutes will be a more intense amount of minutes. It's just a theory, though. I haven't like did no studies or shit.
Yeah,
like
no, I think it's really interesting. I think it just depends on, you know, what kind of person you are, you know, what kind of character you are. For me, I could just never ever do that, just for like multiple reasons. Like, like one moment I went like I don't like to work out on a full stomach, and maybe like when am I eating, when am I working out?
That's key. I only
Showering,
eat 2 meals
not
a day, right?
showering.
So
Yeah.
I my first meal is after that first workout.
Exactly.
And most of the time that very first meal is actually sardines. Like I'll eat
my
like
God,
2
wow.
cans of sardines because I just eat them real quick. I don't do no dishes. I don't fucking cook no food.
Yeah.
I don't clean nothing. Fuck that shit.
No time for it.
I mean,
that's
I
fine.
could do it if I want. I try to spend all my time, either doing something that's gonna make me money or spending time with my friends and family.
Yeah.
And that's it. Like nothing. Like I don't try to spend no time doing nothing else. So that includes fucking cleaning. That include if I enjoyed cleaning, then that's cool, right? But you know, I don't really identify as a fucking maid.
Yeah.
Or but you know, if I like that shit, if I was on some Martha Stewart shit, then you know then I would do it. You know, but it's not my thing. So fuck that shit.
No, that makes sense. Yeah. I think it was Andrew Tate who went viral with the whole idea of like, you know, you're broke. What are you doing sitting there?
Oh yeah,
like,
I think that was on your show, right?
No, it was on a different show.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Maybe I think I asked him about it on my show anyway. But
Oh,
he
yeah.
was like, "You're broke. Why are you sitting there chopping onions? Like, what are you doing?"
Yeah, no,
You know,
me and him
yeah.
fucking see eye to eye on that issue, man. Andrew's my guy. Like I know Andrew since like 2018.
Yeah.
And like before, like he really blew up. Like,
Yeah.
I kicked it with him and Tristan a few times, man. Those the homies, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, fuck all that cooking cleaning shit, man.
Yeah, just make money. Go see your family, and
Yo, I just want to spend time with as much time as possible with the people I love,
That's good.
and I want to fucking spend time making money. That's all I want to do, right? You know, somebody else may have different priorities. You know, they might want to spend their free time in other methods. You know, that's just shit.
That makes
that's not
sense.
the type of shit I'm on. So I just had the maid come, and that's cool too, right? Because now you know it gets fucking single mother, man. You pay her, man. We spread the money throughout the economy, man. It's beautiful. You know what I'm saying?
Beautiful. Yeah, that's perfect.
I don't even
economics.
drive.
You don't drive?
On purpose, you know, like, well, I got rid of my car when I moved to New York, and I lived in Manhattan for like 15 years, and having a car was kind of a pain in the ass, and Uber was just convenient there, and now I live in Miami. I was like, nah, fuck that shit. I ain't driving, you know.
Yeah, because now you can work in the Uber. It
I
reminds
can
me of
work
that-
in the Uber.
Yeah, exactly.
People
yeah.
people try to clown me for that shit,
No.
but that's because they fucking retarded.
There's a whole movie about the Lincoln lawyer. The guy. Well, it's obviously not real, but he doesn't drive, so he can like work and like do
the
cases.
Lincoln lawyer.
Yeah.
Yo, I'm on my Lincoln lawyer shit.
Exactly.
You know,
That's
like
what it's
I made legit money.
Yeah, but I watched the series. It's not with Matthew McConaughey, but it's the same thing. He drives in the car.
I made like real money doing that shit.
Yeah.
You know, you gotta really, you know, for me, man. Like I see a lot of people like getting mad on social media about fucking everything all the time, right?
Yeah.
And my life I really just simplify my life, man. If it's like not about my friends or family or making money, then like I don't give a
That's
fuck.
perfect.
You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
fuck it. You know what I'm saying? And so I concentrate everything on that. Like I care about those things like a lot, and I don't care about nothing else. Not say I don't care. I got compassion for people who are struggling and all that
Yeah.
shit. But it's like, yo, I can't save the world. I can't change the whole world, but I can change my world.
I agree with you completely. That's my mindset. I'm like, I don't care about what's going on right there. Like, I need to deal with me and my family, and that's all that matters. And maybe once I've saved the home, then maybe we can talk about something else. But
Once you got your shit together,
we'll see.
you got it really got it
Yeah,
popping.
yeah.
You know, like I mean, I got some money, man, right? But it's like
You're not where you
I
wanna
can't
be.
save the whales or the dolphins now, so I ain't even gonna trip about it, you know. But like
Yeah,
if I get to like some huge numbers, then maybe you know I can devote some time to like you know saving the dolphins, the whales, the marine life, fucking kids in Africa. Then I'll worry about that shit, man. But you gotta, you know, it's like that's just a distraction. Everything is a distraction right now.
Where can people follow you? Get in touch with you. You know, if they want to hire you or anything like that. How do people follow you and get in touch with you?
Listen, man, I'm all social media. My Instagram is King Keto. You know, it's the one with 1 million followers. TikTok, my TikTok is Big Brandon Carter. Some fucking nerd took King Keto. It's just cool. He ain't doing nothing with it, man. Fuck him. And but you know, my Instagram, yeah, it's Big Brandon Carter. I mean, my TikTok is Big Brandon Carter, but it's the same shit I post on YouTube Shorts.
Yeah.
Same exact fucking content, man. So
Yeah.
like, YouTube is a good place of comedy. And if you wanna like hire, like, work with the team, if you want, you know, that join the mentorship program, man, you probably don't, man. You probably too soft. I'm gonna be honest with you, man. Like,
Don't
you know what I'm
get
saying?
involved.
Like, you probably not tough enough for this shit, man. So you should probably just keep doing what you're doing, man. Try to like make peace with like what you are. I'm sure you have redeeming qualities outside of your work ethic, you know. And you should just focus on those, man. Be happy, man. Learn to enjoy life.
Just don't try too hard. Just enjoy
Yeah, man.
life.
Just try, yeah, man. Maybe you should just enjoy life, man.
Yeah, it's all about getting the balance. It's all about getting the balance. Well, Brandon, I want to thank you so much. I really appreciate you coming on the show. I found it really valuable. I hope, you know, everyone watching, I'm sure they found it really valuable as well. Like I said, Gideon and I, we're just like trying to get the diet right now. You know, we're just like fighting, arguing over like what's the best way to do it. So I really appreciate you coming on.
Man. Just really start with the calories, and then once you got that shit in order, calories, then protein, everything else. And everything else. That's all you got.
Well, I really appreciate you coming on. It's been really valuable. So thank you.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Awesome.
Guys, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, then don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe, as we have more of this content coming.